are testing out something a little bit different this time, which is our basically Zoom live, to see how this works. And I'm just uploading and redoing my screen so I can see if I can share my screen as well, which is the general idea. So I can see that we are, which is fabulous. So welcome everyone who is here. We are doing this as a super special extra on the Entrepreneur 5.0 members group. So this is not like the one we did on Friday, which was out for everybody. This one is specifically just for people who are in our group. So it's going to be a cozy affair, but one in which, if you are watching right now, click a like on the video and basically post in here where you are in the world right now. And then that way we can see who else that we have who is on the call as well. And basically I am going to jump right in a moment and share with you what we have been up to and what is going on within our Entrepreneur 5.0 launch. So big thank you to everyone who has been a part of the launch so far. I will also ask everyone who's been already watching the videos to just share down below whatever's been your biggest learning so far from the videos. We've had 2 days. We've got another 3 days that are coming up as well. You might be watching this live with us right now, which is awesome. So click a heart or a happy face if you are on right now. And if you are watching the recording of this later, well then, welcome. And obviously you're gonna get lots of good info on here as well. We're gonna make this a bit of a Q&A. So what I'm going to ask for everyone who's on here is to think, if you had a question from the first couple of days, then what would you already be wanting to ask? Because why not, in the middle of this, as we're going through it, give an opportunity for those of you who are already really thinking about how you want to be playing this game. And I will come back to all of the comments as we go through as well. Let me share now my screen so I can give you a bit of an overview of the things that we have been up to, because I know we've got lots of people who have been going through all of our videos. You'll see that on our group, which is where we are right now. We basically have got, in fact, if I just refresh this, you will see that we are actually live as we go. So it's on here as well right now. And here it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you like some of the key things that we've been going through. Oh, look, there we are. We're live. So good to see everyone. And what we are going to go through is basically what's been happening over the last couple of days. So on Friday, we launched our very first day. You can click on any of these up above, by the way, and you can see day 3 already is here. Because we launch it at 5 o'clock every day, Singapore time. So day 1 was all about insight. You can see down below all of the comments. We have 264 comments so far. Some awesome comments. Here's Rosemary here. When we talk about how do you create your purpose, I get up every morning to inspire people to do what they love and love what they do for work so that their eyes sparkle and we can jointly change the energy in the world as energy is committed through our eyes, which is awesome. We had here Mike Brunn, who was talking about the whole concept of ego side. And I actually said, well, here's a really good blog on Bucky's ego side. So if you've already got to the second day, you know, I tell this story for the first time. I never told that story before. And there's this blog here, which is a really interesting blog where Bucky talks about this whole thing where he was wanting to commit suicide and then how he went from there to basically realizing, hey, you know what, like I have something else I need to be doing right now. And so he actually killed his ego and he became the scientific guinea pig, right? So this link here is a really, really good link. I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna post it down on here as well. So you guys have got a comment on it. Yeah, let me see if I can add a comment. There's the link, all right? So there it is. Hey, good to see everyone here. All right, here we go. We've got Akbar here. Hi from Kerala. That's awesome. Carolyn, hi from Newport, Wales in the UK. So we've got different people already who are showing up here, which is awesome. This is all going live at the moment, which is really, really good. So I will come back to this as we go as well. And hopefully I'll be able to see all the comments. I think I can as I start posting down here. I'm also going to ask Suraj, as he sees any questions, to post them in my chat, because that way I'll be able to see them really easily in case I kind of miss your comments as they're coming through here as well. And let me, watching this, right? And let me also share that if you have been watching the videos and you haven't actually been posting down here, go ahead and post, because then you can see who else is on here as well as we're going through this. And we also have the day 2, which is on here as well, where I tell this story, as we've just been mentioning. And then we also have got the day 3, which has just got going, which is like a super awesome day, which is about how do you now turn your impact into income, and what is the idea of a value cycle, and how do you create that in the first place. And you'll see that below here, each of these links these actually take you also to all of these, which basically will give you not just the stories, not just the steps of what you are in for over the 5 days, but also you will see here that, in terms of like what are the actual steps to go through, what's the exercises that we cover, that we're going through this as well. When you download it, you can then fill in all of these elements, and it's really, really worth it. I mean, it's one thing to listen to me talk about it. It's nothing when you actually do it. And I do all these exercises myself, right? So it gives you all the resources of what to go to and how to get to them as well. So day one, day two is much more around impact. How do you actually create that impact? You'll see that we talk about Society 5.0 all the way through, and we've got great stories. Here's a story of Paul and Masami. Paul just actually mentioned about how he's flying right now on his way to Vision Villas, where he is mentoring our current iLab. And then we have like not just amazing stories come out here, but actually templates of what we do and how we create our templates as well. So again, if you haven't watched these videos, highly recommend you do it. They are going to be up during the period of these 5 days. And so do make sure that if you missed any of them, that you're going in and experiencing them as well. And day three, which is the one that's just coming up now, I tell some more stories, which you will hear all about, and some really, really good learnings. If you've ever wondered where wealth dynamics comes from, I basically touch on the whole idea of where the Confucius family, the Eightfold Path of Buddha, the Bushido Code from the Samurai Code, all of these things all interlinked, right? Like we're living in magical times where we can actually really understand how do we go exponential using all of these different tools out there. What are the stories of other people that are actually going through this right now? And most importantly, how do you create a 5.0 enterprise, which is self-growing, self-improving with an automatic cash-generating engine? And what does a cycle look like? Even if you've been to one of our Entrepreneur 5.0 events, you're going to see a whole bunch of new information in here, which is really, really super valuable at understanding how do you create an infinite scale? How do you actually then really turn that and link it into the impact meter? I won't give it all away. I think you get the idea. If you watch that, you'll get some really, really awesome experience through the, not just the learning, but the exercises that we go through there as well. Okay, so that's the first thing, is just give you a bit of an overview that we are now on day 3. So we're halfway through, or almost halfway through, once you watch the 3rd video. And then we go into applying all this over the next 2 days, which is all about high touch, high tech, the whole new way that businesses are now growing. A couple of other things that I want to share with you, because as well as us being in this really super awesome phase right now, where we are going through all of this. And the reason we actually timed this was because of the G20, right? Like basically, as you probably heard today, Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, they just met up in the demilitarized zone. The G20 just completed. And like we're here with the ability to go out there and do things that governments can't do, which is to take a global view on how we are able to create an entrepreneur movement and to achieve the 17 United Nations global goals. The reason that the governments can't do that is that governments by their own nature have to be focusing at their own country interests, their own national interests. I still remember when I first joined the Clinton Global Initiative. So some of you have seen the photo of me with Bill Clinton, and where we got awarded a certificate for the work we were doing in the Hunger Project. And this was a good 10 years ago. And at that point, I was really optimistic, because he at that point had already left, he was no longer the president, he already left office. And he was bringing together all these top entrepreneurs. So that's where I met Larry Page from Google. That's where I met the guys that set up YouTube, Chad Hurley and Steve Chen. And it was just the most amazing time where you were meeting celebrities, right? That's where I met up with Shakira, and they were all humanitarians making a difference, which was amazing. And so I was like super excited about the fact that we were bringing together the top charities with the top entrepreneurs. But then what happened was that he came out to Hong Kong for a Hong Kong Asian Clinton Global Initiative. It was the one and only one ever. And I showed up there as well. And I thought this is going to be like incredible that we're now bringing this into Asia as well. And that was when his wife, Hillary Clinton, was the Secretary of State, or about to become the Secretary of State. Like Obama was just getting into office. And so it was 10 years ago. And so at that point when he got on stage, he says, hey, my vision was that I would be able to really grow the Clinton Global Initiative globally. So we'd be able to connect all of the charities, to collect all of the entrepreneurs. He says, but unfortunately, we have to stop it. And the reason we have to stop it is that the American government have said that it's a conflict of interest, that if we have national governments that are getting involved in what we're doing, then it's too easy for there to be a conflict of interest. And because my wife is going to become the Secretary of State, then I can no longer do this. And it was like, for me, it was heartbreaking. It was like, hey, here was an opportunity to actually create a platform and a community where we all could connect with each other. And then poof, it was gone. Well, the good news is we're doing it now, right? So like this is where it gets super, super exciting, is that over these 5 days, we're getting all the tools that allow us to be able to really move forward. And there's actually more than the 5 days. There's something else, which is our little Easter egg in today's video, third video, which I'm going to share with you a little bit later, because that's where we now unlock the key to what we do over the next 6 months, right? So I'm going to kind of share that. So stay tuned for that as we go. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to come over to all of the comments and see what everyone has been posting as we go as well. I'm going to see if I can link this. I'm going to come over to all of the comments and see what everyone has. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I can actually see everyone's. I'll tell you what I'm looking at right now, right? So what I'm looking at right now is I just clicked on the actual picture itself, and I can see everyone with their live comments now, right? So I can see, here's Marta, hello from Poland. Here's Donna, hi from Brisbane. Here's Jeff, hi from Los Angeles. Here's Michelle, hi from Northwestern UK. So we got Dubai on. So my apologies to America. You guys are in the middle of the night right now. Here's Marissa in the Netherlands, but like Bayer, everyone's here. It's awesome, right? And from all different countries, which is really, really awesome. Slovakia, Croatia, and so on. We have everyone here, which is fabulous. So welcome everyone to the call. Here's Emma from Brisbane. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of share that as we are going through this part here, that in terms of any of you that have thoughts, questions, now's a really good time to post some of them down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share some of the comments that were already coming through on the notes here, so we can kind of see them as we were going through here as well. Because there were a number of different people who had, like, you know, some comments or questions, which I thought were really, really, you know, like telling. And at the same time, I want to share them as well. So here's one. This is from Donnie Nichols. So she had a question, which was, okay, in day 2, Roger talks about mission statement and the 17 SDGs and how every morning one wakes up to. And my question is, how would a media company like Disney or Marvel Entertainment fit into this equation? Which of the 17 goals would a Disney champion going forward? Well, and I actually answered, right? Like, this is the first thing. If you actually see what these companies out there are doing, everyone is getting much, much more conscious right now. And so this is Walt Disney and what Walt Disney actually does that links to their giving. And this here is this whole concept. They have this thing called Disney Team of Heroes, where the whole idea is $100 million that they're putting towards reimagining how children, especially terminally ill children, go through the whole process of their experience in life through having to live in a hospital. And it actually started with Walt Disney. So he actually started this a long time back. And then they have the whole wish granting, where they have like Make-A-Wish. They partner with all of these other different charities out there. But they're actually now also partnering with hospitals. So they've actually got Heroes pilot hospitals. And you can see how they do it and how much they're giving as they go, right? Book donations as well. So like we have gone past the day where companies were doing what they're doing just for profit. It's now about doing well and doing good at the same time, doing purpose and profit at the same time. Marvel was actually bought over by Disney about 6 years ago. And what Disney did once they bought Marvel was they did the same thing. They said, well, let's actually create a whole Marvel branded charity, which is this one here, which is basically called Marvel, the Universe Unites, where they're linked again to charities like Make-A-Wish, Starlight, Give Kids the World, which are 3 different charities that all are supporting kids with like amazing experiences. And these are ill kids that are, you know, limited in the time they've got left. And it's basically another great, great, great initiative that you can see that has been, you know, at the core of what they're doing to bring purpose and profit together. So just knowing that these companies are out there doing these amazing things, I think is just fantastic. And I think that's like a really, really good way to be thinking about it as you go as well. I want to like just point out some things as well. Here's Arcana here, who says, I'm in the crossroads now. My business crashed 2 years ago. Was foolish enough to take all my loans to keep going. Today I have to do much of my property and jewelry that I had kept for my daughter. Just to know, I just need to know what to do. So, and I really don't know what to do. How do I pay these loans back? What about my daughter, her education, marriage? So I want to say something to people like Arcana. And if you watch the second video, you know, in that second video, when I am talking about my story, that there is this illusion that we have of physical things, that we actually think somehow that wealth is to do with our physical things. And of course, if you have that illusion, well, then you're in big trouble, because the problem with that is it means you're going to constantly, the moment you have more physical things, you're going to then have them as an anchor around you. You're going to be worried about losing those things. So the fear of loss will stop you from taking bigger risks. And a risk isn't even necessarily a risk, which means you're going to lose things. A risk is just you going out of your comfort zone to try new things, where it's like, oh no, but I can't because I'm in my comfort zone right now and I've got these things already and I've got to hold on to them. But if you really think about what's possible in the next 10 years, imagine if whatever you have right now is less than 1% of what you actually could have. So it means you're willing to give up 99% for just the 1%. I mean, think about it. If you're whatever, like what is the difference of 1% and 100%? Take whatever you're earning right now and add 2 zeros. So if you're earning $1,000 a month, then add 2 zeros and make that $100,000 a month. If you're earning $10,000 a month, then add 2 zeros and make that now $1 million a month. And just ask yourself, maybe not today or tomorrow, but in the next 10 years, given that there's lots of other people out there who've actually managed to add a few zeros to what they're doing, if you were to add those 2 zeros in, do you think that's possible? Do you think that you could be earning 100 times what you're earning at the moment? Now, do the same thing at impact. Think about how many people you're currently impacting on a day-to-day basis. Maybe every month. Is it what, 10 people, 20? How many customers do you have? How many people, as a result of your business, are you impacting? Maybe it's 100 people. Maybe it's 1,000 people. Whatever that number is, add 2 zeros. So if that number is 10, add 2 zeros, and now you've got 1,000. Is it possible, can you imagine yourself, that you could actually be impacting 100 times the number of people? If you've got a big business right now, if you're impacting like already 1,000 people a month, could it be 100,000? Just ask yourself that question. If you think, actually it could be 100 times that amount. And by the way, in 10 years, you actually don't need to double it that many times to get to 100 times the result. That's the power of this. You know, if you double something up, then you get to 10 times within 2.5 years. You get to 100 times within 10 years. So that means that there's 99%. If you're going to go 100 times, there's 99% that's not even done yet. And you're worried about holding on to the 1%. So the reason that this is so important is for someone like, okay, now he could look at it and go, geez, I owe this money. I've got all this debt. The most important thing is not how much you owe or what you don't have. What's most important is, are you going positive? Is there a way for you to actually go positive and then to start increasing that flow and increasing that flow? And if the answer is yes, then you're going to find that there is 100% a way that not only in a year can you clear that debt and be out of it, but that you actually now free yourself up to be the person that you're meant to be. So I do want to mention that because I think it's super duper important. I'm going to also, I'm just going to do a quick check here on our chat, right? Because I know that Suraj has actually been posting a little bit as well. So Suraj has posted this. He said, Louisa Natasha Parker says, do you believe it is possible that we are able to have a partnership with number 16 based on the failures of institutions and organizations, right? So like number 16 is partnership for the goals, right? Like is it possible to make that happen? Here's what I'm going to share. If you go back to 1848, 1848 was something called the Spring of Nations. So what happened in 1848 was really the very, very beginning of the French Revolution. There was European revolutions all over Europe. It also was basically during the 1800s that America went through the same thing as well, Declaration of Independence. So monarchies were what were really like controlling most of the countries before 1848. And then the Spring of Nations was this whole spring of democracy where everything got switched and changed, and suddenly you had these democracies that didn't exist before, and the whole system got reorganized. We can feel the same thing happening right now. There's this friction that's happening, where the old ways of doing things, you know, the ways that right now people are already pushing against governments, right? The fact that we actually don't even trust governments the same way. There was an Edelman report, which was about how much do we trust our current governments? And millennials trust their governments like less than 15%, which is massive, right? Doesn't mean 1 in 8 people trust the government, the other 7 don't trust it. So when that's happening, you know there's going to be big shifts that are going to take place. There's a really great analogy that a number of different people have used. I think Deepak Chopra was one of the first to use it, where he talked about the butterfly and how a butterfly gets created. And he basically talks about it from a biological point of view. Another person is Bruce Lipton, who is a biologist. He also talks about the same thing, where what actually happens in a caterpillar is as a caterpillar starts getting hungry, it just starts munching and munching and munching. It just overconsumes. And there's no question in the last 10, 20 years, we have gone through overconsumption as an entire humanity, which is why we've got all the environmental challenges. That's why we've got all the challenges with governments, which massively inflated what they've done and actually been printing money like crazy. And so because there's this massive overconsumption that happens, just like in a caterpillar, it gets to a point where it's almost ready to burst. And then at that point, what happens to the caterpillar is it just kind of falls asleep. It's just like, whoop. And as it falls asleep, what happens is it actually creates around itself, before it actually goes into a deep sleep, a chrysalis. And it's almost like restricting itself when it does that. Just in the same way that we're feeling this in the world today, where there's this restriction that's happening, where we're all trying to push against it or create new wars. And so as that's happening, then something magical happens inside the cells. And there's something which scientists actually have called imaginal cells. So they're called imaginal cells, which are cells that were in the caterpillar all along, but they were just sleeping. And now they wake up. And those imaginal cells, they start basically going through and meeting all the other cells and basically unlocking them and turning them into like this big, massive soup. So now you've got the caterpillar, which has gone from a caterpillar into this big soup. And every one of those imaginal cells is linking to all the other cells and is telling them to just switch, just to change. And most of the cells have no idea what they're changing to. So there could be one cell, which used to be part of the caterpillar's leg, and now it's becoming part of the part of the butterfly's wing. You might have another cell, which was part of the caterpillar's stomach, right? And now it's actually becoming part of the butterfly's antenna. And each one of these has no idea what it's going to become and doesn't even know that there's going to be a butterfly that's going to show up. But out of all this magic, what happens is this reorganization, which then ends up suddenly with this entire butterfly getting created. And that is this whole idea of metamorphosis, right? So metamorphosis, which is not about, formation is about how do you measure change. Transformation is about how do you change your measure. So most of us, what we're doing is we're measuring our change and going, the change doesn't feel right. Whereas changing your measure is like, hey, we shouldn't be measuring profit. We should be measuring purpose. We shouldn't be measuring just in terms of like how hard we're working. We should be measuring in terms of what fulfillment we're receiving. Like we shouldn't be measuring what we're getting. We should be measuring what we're giving. So this is about these shifts in measures that are happening. That's what's happening in the world game. That's what already organizations like B1G1 do in terms of giving impacts, which I'm about to share in a moment. And so super important to think of it in that way, that don't worry about what was the old way of doing things. This is something, if you go back to the late 1900s, there was this whole thing called the Great Horse Manure Crisis, where all the big governments in the world got together because they were in crisis about the fact there was all this horse manure in London and in New York, and they actually estimated that if this continued, there's going to be 7 feet of horse manure within 20 years. And so they're like, how are we going to sort this out? And while they're trying to figure this out, people like Mercedes-Benz, people like, Henry Ford, they were already thinking about the automobile. And of course, 20 years later, they didn't have any of that problem because the horses weren't on the streets anymore. So don't worry about the old. As Lynn Twist says, she goes, don't worry about fighting the old. Just hospice the dying. Like they're going to die anyway. Hospice the dying, like give them care and attention and go, well, thank you for being here. But no, they're going to be gone. And as a result, we should be creating the new. And so I want to share that because you may right now be in a confusion with your life. You may be in confusion about your business. The whole point of it is that you may be just one of those cells, or maybe even the imaginal cells themselves. And as a result, you switch, and then suddenly before you know, there's this new butterfly. That's the transformation we're going through as an entire humanity right now, I believe. And that's why when I talk about Society 5.0, and then I talk about Entrepreneur 5.0, the end point of that, as you heard me already say in the first 2 videos, is the whole concept of Humanity 5.0. Now, by the way, I really believe that you have a choice whether you're going to be one of those cells waiting to be woken up, or whether you become one of the imaginal cells doing the waking up. And what I'm about to share with you is like the citizenship, the mentorship, what we're doing over the next 6 months and over the next 10 years to actually be the imaginal cells, to be the ones we've been waiting for, right? So I'm going to get to that in a second. But I'm going to get another question here, right? Which is, this is from Kaushal, who says, greetings from India. I'm final year engineering student, so welcome. I know we have a lot of students online as well, so it's fantastic to see you here. I've started my own brand and setting water bottles and going to add more items, and I want to grow my sales. Suggestions, please. What should I do? So the most important thing when you're getting started is to know that your number one currency is not money. Your number one currency is knowledge and connections. There are 3 different types of capital which makes up all wealth. The top one, if you think of this like an iceberg where the 2 push it above water, you see the top one is called financial capital. That's your money. But financial capital is limited, right? And it's only going to show up if you push the other 2 up. Someone like Mark Zuckerberg didn't start with anything. Now he's actually built himself into a billionaire. Jeff Bezos did the same thing. But they didn't focus at the money. They focused at the other 2 that pushed it up. The other 2 are what? One of them is not called financial capital. It's called intellectual capital, which is what you know. And then the other one is called social capital, which is who you know. What you know and who you know is much more valuable than the money that you have. And if you start thinking every day, all I need to do to grow what I know and who I know is to basically just invest my time. And I can turn my time into those things. And we have the same amount of time as Richard Branson. We've got the same 24 hours of time every day, and they're golden drops. So if we just actually allow ourselves to lift those up, then the whole thing lifts up as well. So my advice to you is to make sure that what you do is you, first of all, use all the tools that are on here. You come onto Genius U, you connect with others as well. Water, like, you know, in terms of water for everyone, that is one of the United Nations global goals. Go to the purpose circle on water and actually connect with everyone on there, right? And then you'll, you know, let me show you exactly how you do that, right? I'm just gonna share my screen for a second. If I go, and I go onto Genius U, right? Which basically is, here we go. Let me just have a look here. Here's Genius U. And if I just go on to Genius U, I'm going to come back in a moment just to wrap up, guys. So just, you know, I'm going to be maybe another 5-10 minutes. I said 30 minutes, but I think we're going to go a little bit over, but not too much over, right? So here I am, and this is Genius U. You've all gotten access to it already. When I do the purpose test, I can find all the other streams as well. And you can see, like here, I can kind of like, you know, so if I'm interested in water, I can just type in water, right? And just see what shows up. You can see, look at this. Here is the actual purpose circle on water, clean water and sanitation. So if you were to go to this link here, and this is one of the United Nations global goals, then you can see here, clean water and sanitation. There's 275 members all around the world that already are connected to this being their #1. You can see people are posting down here all about like water, like clean drinking water for 2,200 people. You know, there's documentaries that you can watch on water, saving lives, right? These different people all posting this in here as well. Different people commenting in here already. And then if you actually want to go look at the members, right? I mean, I'm joined this one, right? But if I did, right, and I actually want to be part of this, you can then link into all the other people that have got water as their #1. And the real power of this is that once you're in here and you're actually now connecting with the other people that are actually in here as well. Look at someone like Robert, right? So Robert's here. He's like posting, you know, it's like showing up here. So he's obviously interested in water as well. You can see different people, what's their #1 thing. His is education here. So you can see there's the education one, right? But as you actually connect to other people in other areas and you find the people that are actually fine, like, you know, if I go, for example, you know, back to my community and I look at all the people, right, who are, let's say, for example, mentors. And now I'm looking at people who are like interested in mentoring other people, right? So they're all on here as well. And I can filter and sort. And there's all these, here's Terry, who's here from Australia. Here's Peter in the UK. Here's Catherine in Australia. Michelle in the UK. Like different people in all different countries. Syed from Pakistan. And so I can go here and say, well, like, is there anyone here who's got like, you know, clean water and sanitation as their #1? Maybe there is, maybe it's not, right? But basically here they are, right? So here's Angie, mental ranking, #1 in water in Australia. You can see clear water and sanitation. So you've got people already up here that you can actually then connect up with. That this person here, Angie, she's passion test facilitator, passion test for business facilitator, national director, and she's got water as her #1 thing. So you're now connecting to the right people. You get the idea, right? It's really, really super valuable once you get connected to the right people in the right way. Okay, we've got a few more questions, right? So we're gonna continue on some of the questions because anyone who wants to jump, well, you can, but I wanna make sure that I'm covering these questions as well. So I'm gonna cover more of these questions as I go. Before I do answer more of the questions, and if this goes on for longer, I'm fine with that. It's a Sunday. Why don't we actually spend some time together and get all the questions answered, right? So, but before I do that, I do wanna share something else which is happening today, which I think you'll find really exciting, which is that within the accelerator, you'll see that when you're watching the video, it goes for maybe what we have planned, and I really hope that this goes for maybe 50 minutes or so, like the other ones. Sorry, not this one here, this one here. Let me get it. Yeah, this one here, it goes for about 50 minutes. This is the day 3, which is just gone live. If you're curious as to what we're doing in addition to our 5-day program, because we've still got 2 more days, and you can just come and do the 5 days. But I would highly recommend that you listen in after the 55 minutes, because there's another 20 minutes here where I'm sharing all about something which is launching for the first time. And it's this thing here, which is our 2020 Ready Accelerator. So what is this? This basically, and this link, by the way, we'll give you this link as well, but this basically is a way for everyone who's really getting value out of this 5 days to come and join us for another 7 days where I'm gonna be going through a workshop on the actual Genius U platform, where we're gonna be taking a smaller group. Because we've got like between 18 to 20,000 people now that are in the actual, you know, entire 5-day free course. But we're gonna go and do this together, where we're actually gonna end up with a 6-month plan from now to the end of the year. And we're also at the same time going to be creating the memberships where we get our own member card. And then we're also gonna have vouchers we're gonna be giving out. Let me show you what this looks like. overall in detail, right? Like this one here, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because you can come look at this for yourself. But the whole idea of a genius citizen, think of it like you're a global citizen on planet Earth, where you're actually going to have your own passport, you're going to have your own handbook to planet Earth, and then at the same time, we're going to make sure that we are the imaginal selves that are able to go out there and actually really drive forward this movement. So I've got this 7-day worldwide workshop that I'm going to continue to run. So I don't stop after 5 days. I just take it from these 5-day free course and we go on to Genius U for 7 days. And you'll see here, we're going to create our vision on the first day. We're going to define our customer on the second day, assemble the team. So we've got the whole team that's going to be helping on this so you can get all your questions answered, to get a 6-month plan together, set your objectives, price your products, create your pathway, and then take action. So between now and the end of the year, you're already moving through the things that you're doing. And then we're going to launch the World Game on the 12th of July, which is really just after this finishes. This finishes on the 10th, and then we start on the 12th. So the whole thing's timed out for the year. I'm going to be doing 6 months training and video series that you're going to get as all part of this as well. Plus, we're going to give you the membership, Genius Citizen, Genius Card. The Genius Citizen, by the way, looks super awesome. Like, let me show you what my card looks like. If I go to my dashboard, which is here, and some of you are just new to this, do know that here is where you're going to find people by purpose, just like I showed you, find people by passion. But if I'm here, I can go to my Genius Card, and I've got over $10,000 worth of perks and discounts. So here's my Genius Card. Here it is. I'm number 33. And here's my card. And I've got already my Genius dollars. And I can already go and just get stuff free. And I can also basically get discounts of all sorts of things on here as well from all of our different mentors, which is just amazing. So this allows like $10,000 worth of things that you can just use and just get free stuff for everything. So this all comes with part of this whole program that we're doing as well. And then again, I just want to just give you a bit of, I'm obviously very excited about this. We've got here vouchers that we're giving for all of our programs. We're giving you 5 entries to the competition for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. And then you also get to join the World Game, which we're going to start playing, like I said, on the 12th. And you get to then connect with all of our other citizens that are coming on board, which is super exciting. So this is what it's all about as a citizen. And then also some people decide to go for Citizen Plus. And if they want that, then they're going to get 2 days Exponential Entrepreneur. And then also coming to any of my events, you're going to get a ticket for that. We've got a whole POW pack. So this is basically for people that want just an extra piece. It's like the difference of economy class and business class. And all the micro degrees, the whole 12 days, we give you a download. So you have all of that as well. And then we're giving a whole bunch more chances to win on the competition. And also 20,000 Genius dollars that you get for this as well. So that's like the plus level. And by the way, if you're thinking, well, okay, that sounds like a lot of stuff, but probably, it's very expensive. It's actually not. Like, look at this, Genius Citizen. All of those things work out at $13,300, but it's $90 or $9 a month. I mean, like that's for all of that. So it's pretty nuts. But we actually have done that to really make sure that it's affordable for everyone. So $90 a month is basically like, what's that? It's like 2 Starbucks lattes. It's like, half a meal. And you're basically getting access to all of these things, including the 7-day workshop we're going to get going, the 6 months. And we've made it like super duper easy for anyone to come on board. So if you like the idea of this, you can wait until the end of the 5 days and do this, or come on board and join now because we've already got the circle going. And if you want the Citizen Plus, which is all of these extras, then now you're up to more like $15,000 worth of value. And that's just $290 or $29 a month. So again, you can go read this and see what it's all about. And then the final thing is that some of you actually want to be not just the imaginal selves, but the ones that are the self-organizing leaders of what we do. So you saw what we're doing for the mentors. They're all in there as well. This here basically is what we're doing for the mentors. I'm going to do a Q&A mentor video and my Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind with all the mentors that come in. We're going to actually open up for the first time Entrepreneur Mentor Certification. We're going to open this up for the first time in 2 years, which allows you to then go through everyone, get an actual certification that you can then train other people on all the tools on Genius U, which is like super powerful. And then we've got mentor listings that you already saw, mentor tools, and this allows you to build your own micro degrees, your own events. So all the things that you've seen me build on here on Genius U, they're all things that actually came through from, like if I go to micro degrees, if you go to micro degrees and you're not yet a mentor, you'll be able to do the micro degrees. But for me, when I come to this, because I'm a mentor, I can click create and I get to choose, do I want a micro degree or a certification where I can actually, charge people money to be my trainers. And we've got lots and lots of different entrepreneurs and mentors who are making, $1 million plus a year. I'm not saying everyone's going to do that, but we've got the highest level ones who are doing that right now. And all these different micro degrees were created through the micro degree builder. So it allows you to do that. It allows you to get listed so people can find you really easily, just like you saw me do here. And it allows you to actually put your products on here, your events on here as well. So if you haven't seen the events yet, there's all these different events that are taking place, which were all created by mentors that are using them to build their business as well, right? So if this is London, here we have like Gold Coast happening. And then we've got like, different web events where you can do online events as well. So many different programs. And if you haven't seen this, go in and just experience it. Like here's Mumbai Entrepreneur Social, a master trainer, that so many amazing things that are happening to support the entrepreneur movement. And of course, these are all run by our mentors as well. So if you like the idea of actually being one of our mentors, then have a look at the page where you see it go through the mentor section here. Because you'll see we give you all those tools, and we also give you the ability to have now 100 entries in the countdown competition to Tokyo Olympics, 100,000 Genius dollars. And we'll also do a personal 30-minute one-to-one navigation call to really help guide you. And this one, the whole thing is only like $97 a month. So again, nothing that is on here is going to break the bank. What it is going to do is help us to really make sure we have the right citizens on board, have the right mentors on board. You choose whichever level is right for you. And if you're not sure, just go for the lowest level, right? And you'll see that at the bottom, if I click on this link here, it actually takes me down to give me a comparison on all three of these. And if you're wanting to know how much people actually get in value on all this, right, then you'll actually see it up here where we've got videos, we've got like testimonials, we've got so many people who are doing amazing things inside our community. And you can also watch the video at the top, which tells you all about this as well. Okay, so we'll tell you more about all this later, but you get that this is already up and running, and you can already have a look at this if you'd like to. I'm going to go back to some more of the questions now. So we've got here, Suraj, who's posted a whole bunch of the questions for me. So let's just go through a few of these. We've got here, first of all, Jules Ellington, who says, hey, Roger, when will our mainstream education system change to meet the demands of Society 5.0? No one seems to be listening. And what can we all do as businesses? Too many young people are Xbox generation. So here's the good news, Jules. Like if I share with you just what is happening out there on the education side. The first thing is, many of you know that I was very involved when my kids were going to school with the Green School. And the Green School is a perfect example of the brand new School 5.0 revolution that's taking place. Green School Bali is the most beautiful school where it's all environmental. There are no wars. People actually now, come, look at it, it's all bamboo. People come to the school and actually, as a result of that, become change makers. So two of the teenagers that were here, they created something called Bye Bye Plastic Bags, or Bye Bye Plastic, and they basically petitioned the Balinese government to stop using plastic. If you look here at this thing, single-use plastic, you will see that now, not that many years after they started, and they were like in their early teens. Have a look at this, right? This just happened during this month. They have actually now made it official, no more single-use plastic. Teenagers did this, and it was because they were already learning a whole new way at the Green School. And there's now a new Green School that's starting up in New Zealand, and they're going to start continuing to grow around the world. The second thing which is happening, which is really exciting, is that we have an entirely new growth in something which is called micro schools. Micro schools are where you've got schools which are actually based around teachers, instead of them being based around like physical places you have to go to. So micro schools is like by far the biggest revolution that's taking place. It's amazing when you actually see just how they are growing right now. And as an example of like how much they're growing, have a look at this. This is a cottage class, which is effectively like it's like Airbnb for micro schools. So if you're looking for a really great teacher and you're looking for support in a particular area, then you're finding all of these different micro schools that people can come and join, where you share a vision, choose a teacher, enroll your children. And there's no question that this is going to be the future of schooling. And it's what we're doing within Genius U as well. So we have got something called Genius School that you can be a part of. And I highly recommend that if you are interested in the whole education system, that even if you have a look at the way that we're bringing our mentors on board, we have a Genius educator system, which allows anyone to come in and be a part of that program as well, which is like super exciting. So good news is there is all this good news. Next thing, we're Alan Forrestal here. How do we communicate this future vision to a people who are losing trust in almost everything we currently have? They are the imaginal selves. Can we connect all the teachers and educators in this community to promote the Genius School within the education system, or do we need to be outside all the current institutions, medical included? So of course, Eileen already knows more about Genius Schools. So her question is, well, how do we actually make sure we connect all of this together? So let me give you already a brilliant example of this. If I go basically back online here, and let's go have a look at someone. I'll go to Facebook, and let's go and have a look at someone like Sandy Herrera. So Sandy was with us just recently in San Diego. Sandy basically was in charge of the whole culture program for Zappos. So many of you would have heard of Zappos. And what she's done is she has taken the whole concept of Genius School, and she has now she's actually got all these programs that are running inside schools with Genius Schools, where she's running Genius Camps. And so if I go to this here, which was the Sandy Herrera, and let's go to her core values, which is her website, got core values. And you'll see here that she already is using all of the tools like, Talent Dynamics for Kids and so on. And she's already bringing it in. Here's Sandy. And she's already bringing it into schools. And she's got companies that are actually supporting it. So this is Genius Schools happening right now in America. We've got the same thing happening right now. If I go to, let's say, for example, let's go to Facebook, and I'll give you another example. This here is Patchman. I hope you guys are all getting, if you've never been in our community, that there's an answer to everything, because there is always going to be someone in our community that's already doing whatever you're thinking of, and they want to collaborate with you as well. So this is now Green School Thailand. That's what Pat's doing. Have a look at this. She's actually doing this inside already. She's already got the whole thing. Oh, that's her food. People in Thailand like taking photos of their food. And she's already got her whole program that's running inside schools. Let me just see. So she's actually she's now a key speaker. When I told Pat's story, I think in one of the programs, here she is in the schools. Have a look. She's got them all going. And actually, we're starting from a younger age as well, where she's actually got them all. She's actually creating physical schools off the back of this as well as her going through the whole process of creating all these genius educators. And already the likes of people like all of these different people here are all getting involved already, which is just fantastic. And it's happening all around the world. So that's the good news, right? We can link together with the actual school system. We can help them in amazing ways. And you don't have to be trying to fight the old. There's already enough conscious schools that are trying to grow. Okay, next we've got here Ajit Nagpura. I'm going to take two more, and then I'm going to come back and do a bit of a feedback with everybody. I'm going to go through and just say hi to everyone as well. So stick on for a little bit, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. So we've got here Ajit Nagpura, who says, what is the future of publishing industry, including media in India? Any suggestions for web advertising? So the answer to that is there's no question that we are going to be moving very quickly. There's already an entire way of thinking about companies, which you'll see as we go into the next two videos, high touch and high tech, which is the 3C model, which is how do you create something which is going to have content? So content's important, but base it around community and then base it around commerce. So CCC, right? And it's no longer about media companies being like one-way street where they're just giving you content. It's where the community is creating its own content. So think about where you go right now for fitness, right? You probably won't go and just read a fitness magazine. You might actually use something like Nike Run or something like Strava, where you're already getting content and information, but you're also connecting and sharing with other people on there as well. Same is happening right now with, different companies out there within schooling, like we just mentioned there as well. You're not just reading a schooling magazine, but you're actually getting connected in all these different ways. The advertising side as well, you'll hear in today's video. So go watch that afterwards, because I talk about something called rainmaking and how do you actually create that rain, which is not costing you any money at all. I talk about something called gold dust, where in the same way that we've gone out and got to a point where we have over 1,000 entrepreneurs every day joining our community, we spend almost no money on advertising. Even what we've done to actually grow to close to 20,000 people for this course, we spent less than $1 per person, right? For people coming on board and being a part of this. So didn't really look to spend that much money on it, because people were finding their way to us through word of mouth. And if you have a strong enough concept or a strong enough thing that you're doing, there's certain ways to really build that word of mouth. We have lots of partners that are helping us out as well. And so there's going to be some ways you don't have to be doing that advertising, but there's no question that all of the advertising is moving. Facebook ads, Google ads will not look anything the same in 10 years time. In the same way that 10 years ago, you probably were still using yellow pages ads in the telephone directory. You don't use those anymore. And so we're not going to be using ads in that way anymore, because most of us will do voice search. So it's going to be much more voice recommendations or AI recommendations to us. It's going to be as a result of like chatbots and actually having a conversation with someone that we trust, which is an AI, which will be then recommending things to us as well as a result of that. And it'll be very much in terms of product placements inside virtual reality or inside augmented reality, which is very, very different from what we get today. Plus, most of the advertising you respond to will be as a result of you turning on when you walk down the street all of your location-based advertising, so you know, oh, this restaurant has got this special, this sale is going on down the road, and that's how you're going to actually make decisions as to what you're going to buy and where you're going to buy it from. You're going to go online and you're not going to search to say, I'm looking for a particular product, where can I get the cheapest? You would just say, hey, where's a sale happening on this particular product? And it would then go find it from you wherever that happens to be online. That's not happening today, right? So that's all going to be happening in the future. What's most important is to just know that that's where we're going. We've got Natasha Parker, who says, what do you recommend I do as a Lord that has created, if as a Lord I've created a global meditation for family and environment, peace, love, joy, harmony. The most important thing is to know it's not about the products. It's not about the fact that you have this product about global meditation. It's about the fact that there are people out there who are your customer. We're talking about right here about family and environment, right? So you've got people out there already in schools or through Genius U or through Genius School that already are going out meeting customers every day. So for you to go and be of value to them, someone like Pat, who's in Thailand, if you go, hey, I've got this really great meditation program, let's trial it out, right? And I'm happy to actually give it a go to see if it works for you. And if it works well, let's then roll that out through all the Genius schools, right? That's the way to think about it. How can you actually add value to someone and give to someone before you want to take? And because we have this vibrant community here, that's the way to do it. Too many of us, we're throwing seeds, but we're throwing seeds on concrete. And we wonder why none of it grows. So whatever you're doing, if you're kind of feeling like life is tough, there's a pretty good chance it's because you're around other people who are not supporting you in the same way that our community would support you. And that's one of the biggest things that I always say. A lot of people think that success is related to how much you want success, but it's not. You can want success all you want, but if you're not surrounded by other people who want your success, you're never going to be successful. So the key thing is not how can I get to success? It's like someone trying to win at football and never getting a team. But if you go, well, wait, instead of me looking for success and thinking about how to be more successful, what I'll do is I'll go look for the people that I can help be successful. They can help me be successful. And it's way easier if you find 8 people and they're all trying to get to your success and help your success to be successful than if you're just trying to do it on your own. So the key thing is success isn't how much you want to be successful, it's how much you're surrounding yourself by other people who want you to be successful. And you are in the right community by being here. And now it's just a matter of dropping down those seeds, but doing them within fertile ground where you can then grow a whole garden. And that's what we mean by a flower. A flower is something that flows, right? And that's what we're all looking to grow. So with that shared, let me just share a final time my screen, because I'm about to wrap it up here. And what I'm going to do is come back. I hope everyone's found this valuable. Whatever's been valuable here, if you want to leave a message for me, drop it right now into the comments. If there was a particular thing I said, or if you just want to leave a message for me, I would love to hear it as well. You can see that all the comments are still coming here as well. And so we've got different people here. Yeah, Matt's talking about Bruce Lipton's fascinating. Totally agree with that. You've got different people here. Gareth, saying here, yay, or great, thanks. Okay, that's awesome to know. And contract at the bank ended Friday. Now have time for catching up on stuff and doing new things. That's really good. There's different people in different countries as well, in terms of like Dubai, where we aren't there at the moment, or even in India, while we're in Mumbai, which is where our tech team is. We aren't everywhere else as well. So I do want to say this for everyone too. Do know that if you want to step up and be one of our city leaders, if you want to be, connecting up with us as one of our trainers, that's what it is to be at mentor level. You'll see that all the opportunities are down there to get connected to the things that we're doing as well, which is like super duper important. So this here, by the way, I wanted to share as well. This is launching. This is our new webpage for Genius U. So this launches on the first day of our new 7-day worldwide workshop that we're running. And what's really exciting about this is that you can see this shows you all about how you use Genie in your pocket to have superpowers. This shows you basically what we're doing in terms of how many entrepreneurs we have on our platform, how many given impacts are made by B1G1 and how many we've made in the world game, how many cities we've got with members at the moment. And we're now actually starting to run events in all these different areas. And then just how Genius U can really support and help you off the back of this as well, right? So we've got everything in here. You can find all your events. You can find all the right micro degrees that you want to run. And you can see all of the different mentors on here too. So this is a way for you to know that you've got all the support for yourself to really help you in the coming year. Our whole goal here is to really make sure that each of us are able to really ensure that we are following our own flow and at the same time supporting everyone else in their flow as well. So I think that I am going to stop my sharing now, and I'm going to finish with just a quick story. And so hopefully you're all still watching as I share the story. And the story is about something which happened when I was 8 years old, and it was when I first experienced my first flow. And I want to share this as a kind of like the end of this little video here, so that it's a way for you to, as you go into doing the next videos, kind of take with that this story, I hope. And this actually happened in Papua New Guinea. And so what happened was, I was 8 years old. My younger brother, Martin, he was like a few years younger than me. I had like my sister Elaine, who was a few years older than me. And we had this whole experience of actually getting on, jumping into a swimming pool, which is our swimming pool that we had. We didn't have a lot of money. Like, my parents basically had kind of come out from Hong Kong, and they had like these jobs in Leh, which is where we're living in Papua New Guinea. And they got this pool, right? And the pool basically was this round pool, which is above ground. And we loved to jump in the pool. But the problem was that sometimes when we went on holiday in the summer, we'd come back and it would be full of leaves. And so what would normally happen is, like, it was our job to clean out all the leaves. So we'd be in there trying to clean all these leaves out and get them off the bottom. And we're trying to like gingerly get in to get the leaves out, because if you pick up these old leaves, they kind of fall into more leaves. So as a result, you're trying to hold the leaves as you pull them out. And I remember one of the first times that we got my brother to help out, and we kind of like got in gingerly. We said, okay, Martin, when you get in, like, don't kind of mess up all the leaves. And he just jumped right in, right? And so of course he was messing up everything. We're like, oh, what is going on? And he starts running away, and my sister Elaine starts running after him. And then I'm watching this going, I cannot believe it's going to take so long to clean this pool. But as they start running around, I see that there's not that far to run, because it's a round pool. So they're running around. So I start running around as well. So all three of us are now running around. And as we're running around, we stop thinking about the leaves, because there's nothing we can do. They're at the bottom, right? So we just like, we're running after each other. And we notice we do this, we're creating this vortex in the water. And as we create a vortex in the water, we notice the leaves are all going into the middle. And as they go in the middle, they're kind of rising up the vortex. And we can actually just pick them and just fling them out. So we're flinging out these leaves. And it's really interesting. Like, John C. Maxwell, he has a saying about leadership. He says, managers solve problems, leaders create momentum. So if you try and solve problems in your business, there's a good chance, just like the leaf, it turns into more problems. Like, if you try and just try and fix the problem, there's more problems, right? You might find that in your life as well. Whereas if you just create this momentum, like leaders do this, you might have noticed this without even just being part of this whole 5-day program, there's this momentum that's picking up and it just feels good. And so when you're in that, the problems disappear. And that's what was happening to us. We're just creating this momentum and we're flinging out these leaves. And it was just the most incredible experience of flow when that's happening. But that wasn't the real experience. The real experience was what happened after all the leaves were gone. Because you think after all the leaves were gone and our whole purpose was to get rid of the leaves, we'd stop, but we didn't. We kept going. And the reason we kept going was there was this feeling that we had that we could keep moving this to something. There was a sense we were getting to something bigger. And we could actually feel the pressure of the water behind us as we were continuing to run faster and faster. And as we were doing that, we got this experience where it was almost like you were getting pushed by the flow that you were creating. Annie Lennox says this. She says, true flow is when you don't know if you're the one creating the flow or flow is creating you. And Annie Lennox, she was a musician, where this happens in music as well. And so we felt this, and then I think it was Martin who was the first who kind of like he just picked up his feet. And as he picked up his feet, he was still going at the same speed as us. And then my sister did the same. And then I'm looking at this too, and I'm going, well, I should do this as well. So I pick up my feet too. And all three of us are now just floating at the same pace without any effort whatsoever. Now that is true flow. And we just like, were laughing, and we're just like lying back and just watching the trees and just the whole universe going round and round and round. And every time I've ever had an experience of true flow, that's what it's about. It's about, you can't create flow on your own. It's a team sport, right? And you're going to see this when we go through our 7 days. We're actually, how do you design your team? How do we work with each other to make this happen? It's a team sport. And I just wanted to share that, because if there was one wish that I have for you, if there's one wish I had for you as you go through these 5 days, and I really hope in the 7 days and beyond with us as well, that you get to a point where you create a life which, just like me in that pool, literally it's a life that sweeps you off your feet. That's what I really wish for you, because every one of us can create that kind of a life. And literally, it sweeps you off your feet. The flow that you create, the momentum you create, is one that it just flows with you along. But it has to come from that intention that you're actually in this to be able to help other people to get into flow as well. So hope you have enjoyed this special midway Q&A and update. Continue on. I will see you in the comments as we go through, both in this group and also on our videos. And do post your comments in terms of what was your biggest thing from this call. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of it and connecting in as well. And we will catch up with you in our next call we run, and also in our worldwide workshop. See you guys all later. Bye.